Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Coach Tiffany Parra with Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine, elevating your mind, body, and spirit. We are taking center stage on the Own It platform today, and I have a very special guest. She is one of our newest contributing writers. I'm going to go ahead and bring her on in the house. Elevating your What's going on? Coach
Hey,
Xenia
how are you?
Barnes. I'm good. How are
Hey,
you,
Tiffany,
honey? How are
how you
you?
doing? I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited about our talk today. Hello to everyone who's out there and who is joining from near and far, no matter where you are. We are all about elevating mindsets, minds, bodies, spirits, and souls. And so we are happy that you're taking the time to join us today.
Yes, thank you so much, Xenia. So, again, everyone, this is one of our newest contributing writers on the Phoenix Fitness Fanatics team. So, if you love, and I know you're going to love what she has to say today, you are going to absolutely love her articles that she will be contributing monthly in the magazine. So, if you have not yet subscribed, definitely subscribe to the magazine and get that amazing content. So, Coach Xenia Barnes, please tell us, where are you at? Because this magazine platform it's worldwide. So, where are you located?
Mhm. So I'm coming from Brooklyn, New York, the one and only place to be, the place that never sleeps. If you've ever been to New York, you know Brooklyn is the heart. And so again, I'm just happy to be here. And yes, the Phoenix Fitness Fanatic magazine is global. It is all over. So yes, please, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe because I am now one of the new contributing authors, and I have a lot to add. And I am looking forward to helping you recondition your mindset so that you can become the best version of yourself.
Awesome, amazing. We're so excited. So, Coach Xenia, you are in a very special coaching area, the arena
Mhm.
of trauma coaching. So can you explain to our audience exactly what trauma coaching is and what it is that you do?
Okay, absolutely. And I'm happy that you asked that question. Often, people, there's this stigma with going to therapy. And so what
Hmm.
I wanted to do was I wanted to create this space for the people who are like diehards afraid of going into therapy, and or to those who may not have the resources to pay
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
adequate therapy. And so what trauma coaching is trauma coaching, it provides some of those techniques, but it also allows you to move and navigate through the spaces that are best fit for you so that you can become the best version of yourself, so that you can learn how to navigate your spaces, because trauma is not a cookie cutter situation or experience for every person.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one of the things that you just said is, that whole stigma behind going to therapy, right? A lot of people have that. It's, oh, they're if I go to a therapist, there's something wrong with me. And there's not. It's really just being able to open up and have that unbiased, person to just be able to speak to you, right? And maybe someone that has
Exactly.
gone through the same thing.
Exactly. And then also, um, sometimes you don't know what you need because you're so deep in it. And having a
Mm,
trauma coach is someone who works alongside of you to help you recognize what it is that you need. Often, people experience from different cycles that where others impose their thoughts of what you need when you going through something.
mhm.
It's like, you need to go see this person, or you need to do this, you need to move on, you need to go ahead, you doing this, and because if it was me, everybody have that cycle, the circle of the if it was me people, right? So
Right,
and when you immersed in you in the middle of what you're going through, that trauma, you're not ready to hear that. You
right.
become overwhelmed, You
Yeah.
disassociate from so many different things. And then what happens is you go down this rabbit hole of depression. And sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
don't even realize that that's what it is because you don't have the tools that you need to navigate through that trauma. And what my services do is my services provide you immediate access to tools that allow you to get on a path where you can start to begin to grow emotionally and mentally as well as physically. And that mental and emotional growth, that is something like, listen, that thing right there is powerful. And what I
Yes.
call it is I call it the season of me. And the me stands for mental and emotional growth. Because once you get in your
Mm-hmm.
season of me, where you are growing mentally, emotionally, you start going, wait a minute now. I need to make some adjustments. I don't like the way I'm feeling
Right.
right here. I don't like the way this is going. And then you start to
Right.
have these aha moments and you can start making adjustments. Again, though, the root of that is getting to identify what your trauma is and then say, okay, this thing happened to me, but it's not me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Let's stand on it, not in it. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's stand on that. Like you could, and I always tell, and what I tell my clients is, you can sit here for a moment, but you can't stay here.
Yes. Yes.
So are we going? I'm gonna give you that space you need to sit here, but within our next 2 or 3 sessions, we need to start figuring out how we gonna get you out of here, and that starts with a plan. That starts with
Mm-hmm.
you. With your first assignment is your self inventory. You have
Yes.
to understand what it is that's triggering you. You have to understand what it is that is that is giving you this sense of uncomfortability.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can tell you what I think it is, but that might not necessarily be what it is. So I need
Yeah.
you to do some self inventory and then bring it back to our next meeting. And now we can talk about it and we can go through it. And that's the beginning steps of our trauma coaching, because now you're coming with a totem pole. You're coming with a baseline that's saying, all
Mm-hmm.
right, this is where I think I am, coach. All right, let's work
Yeah.
through this.
Yeah.
Because
That's the focus.
you may come in one way, you may come in thinking this is what you need, but then you leave
Mm-hmm.
out realizing that that's what you want is not what you need.
Right. Not what you need. Absolutely. So, coach, I mean, there's so many different areas of coaching,
Right.
right? I mean, you've got the happiness coaching, you've got the,
Mm-hmm.
just that life, getting to that next. Why did you choose trauma coaching as your calling? I mean, because that's a deep side of coaching.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is. It definitely is. And for me, it was the experience. So I believe in
Mhm.
teaching from experience. Don't get me wrong. I have the knowledge and the school and the background. You can see the accolades. I have it to back me up. However, I believe when you can teach from experience, that's a different level of connectivity. That's a different
Mhm.
level of empathy, compassion, and understanding. So I'm not rushing my clientele through their process because I know from experience that you
Mhm.
have to sit in it for a minute
Yeah.
in order for you to be able to come out on the other side. I know from experience that there's light on the other end of the tunnel and not textbook light. See,
Right.
textbook light makes you think that, oh, you do A, B, C, and D, and then poof, you heal. But
Yes.
experience lets you know that you can do A, B, and C, and you think you moving to D, and then you back at A.
Yeah.
So so and it's okay. Experience lets you know that it's okay to not be okay as long as you know how to ask for help or when to ask for help. And so that's why I picked trauma. I picked trauma because of my own experience. I picked trauma because of my experience with grief.
Mhm.
I picked trauma because my experience with mental illness. I picked trauma because my experience with long-term terminal illness. I picked trauma because my experience with surviving from gun violence after losing my nephew. I picked
Mm,
trauma because I realized the people that looked like me didn't have access or anyone who could understand what they were going through and was willing to
mm,
do the work alongside of them. So there's a lot of people that's out there, and I'm not downing any of those people that's out there. I'm just saying there's a lot of services that's out there that's offered to help you at the top level of the this is what you should be doing. Come on, no, let's be positive. But we put a band-aid on the hurt. And so you find
mhm.
yourself back in the hurt because of the band-aid. I don't
Right.
want to put a
Yeah.
band-aid on it. Come on, we gonna do the surgery, we gonna stitch this
We're gonna
together,
heal it.
we gonna make sure these stitches
Absolutely.
hold. We're gonna make sure these stitches hold, you get that new skin, it heal. And now we gonna tap into the happy. Now we gonna go ahead and we gonna go over, we gonna do the parades, we gonna do the cheerleading, we gonna do all of that because you're
Yeah.
not worrying about these stitches are gonna bust.
Mhm.
You're gonna have to worry about
Mhm.
if you move this way, is this wound gonna reopen? Because
Right.
you healed
Yeah.
you healed it. We did the work. And so, and speaking to that, that made me create this whole package of grieving to heal. Because once you can truly understand what your grief process look like, then you can be on your
Mhm.
journey of transformation to healing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we're gonna go ahead and cut to a quick commercial break, and we will be back with Coach Xenia Barnes. Be right back. And we are back. This is Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine taking center stage on the Own It publishing platform. And we have our special guest today, our newest contributing writer, Coach Xenia Barnes. She is a trauma coach out of Brooklyn, New York. So, Xenia, tell me, so how does someone know? I mean, how do you really know when you need trauma coaching? I mean, all of us go through a lot of different
Mhm.
traumas, whether it be a little trauma or a really huge trauma, a trauma that maybe just we didn't even realize was a trauma. Um, when does someone know that they really need that type of coaching?
Sometimes that's a really great question. Sometimes you have those who do know. The great thing is that I also do trauma and life coaching, and I do a lot of motivational talking and guest speaking. So I'm able to tap into people, and after that, people come up to me and they say like, "Hey, do you offer coaching services?" Or either they read my books. But then you also have people that recommend, and it's like, "Hey, I've had this experience with this lady. Her name is Coach Barnes. I think you would benefit from." Then you also just have people that may see me via social media or the website. But again, when you a lot of times people come to me and they don't know that it's trauma coaching that they need it. And so that's why it was important for me to state that sometimes you come and you think that you need something and you want something, you kind of find out that you actually need something else. And when my clientele come for me, whether it's for professional development, whether it's for life coaching, sorry, sometimes, I have them all do the self inventory assessment.
Mhm.
And it's through the self inventory assessment that gives me a better idea and also gives them a better idea of what they need. So it's like you may come for just professional development. You might come for just my command the room package where I help people become professional motivational speakers. So you may come for that, but then within your assessment, you realize, hey, wait a minute, I have this thing that triggers me. And I want to
Mhm.
deal with that because I don't want to be on stage and then this thing happened. So then it kind of puts together a plan that involves both trauma coaching and public speaking. So there's
Mhm.
different aspects to it, but like I said, I do a lot of grief counseling or grief coaching, and from there a lot of my clientele begin to understand within that grief coaching that they need that support of trauma coaching.
Wow. So, what do you feel is the biggest challenge in working in this space?
I think the biggest challenge is when clientele does not have that at home support, and
Mm.
when they are so focused on pleasing others that they forget about what they need. They forget about the value of self. They forget about the value of self preservation, self wellness, self mental healing,
Mhm.
safe mental spaces. A lot of the times, we are so busy letting life live us
Right.
that we're not living life.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
think that's the challenging aspect of it. And I stick to that, and I believe firm to that because that was something I had to learn myself. I had
Yeah.
to learn myself that when I was dealing with the tragedy of losing my nephew, I was just letting life live me. Like I wasn't
Mm.
sleeping. I was working. I was doing it from work home to do this or to go to my sister, to my mom, like taking care of other people. Like I was doing so many other things that I wasn't thinking about what I needed, and I wasn't thinking about my mental healing and space that I needed, and what that looked like for me, and what my grieving
Right.
looked like. And so life was just living me. And even with
Mm.
dealing with my own healing for my own phases with my health, I realized I wasn't going to the doctor the way I needed to be going to the doctor. And so when
Mhm.
COVID happened and I started recognizing being home, I had this time that I can go to the doctor now because I'm not working 12 hours anymore
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
because everything is shut down. So it's like you going,
Right.
I'm coming straight, like the computer cuts off. Okay, let me do this. And I said, you know what? Let me schedule some appointments because I know I haven't been feeling that well. Let me schedule some
Mhm.
appointments. And then I was going to the doctor and I started to realize how fast I was being dismissed. And it was like,
Mm.
it's not that. That's not, it's your weight. No, it's your asthma. Oh, it's your, and then that triggered something in me that said, no, well, you know your body.
Right.
You know your body. You know when something is off with you.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
I then started doing some researches, and I went out and I started to go see some other doctors, and then I found out that I was diagnosed with pulmonary fibrosis, which is a terminal illness, is where your lungs harden and there is scarring on your lungs that keeps them from expanding. So
Mhm.
I can take a deep breath in, but I can't exhale it out.
Okay.
And
Wow.
there's no cure for that. I actually need a double lung transplant. And so from
Mm.
that, I realized all this time of me running, it was like,
Mhm.
when did I really stop to think about
Right.
what I need?
Right. Man. I
And,
mean,
and,
and
and
people
I
do.
will not take the
Right.
blame.
Mm.
I will not take the blame for me being sick because I was going to the doctor and I
Mhm.
realized that I was being dismissed, and I can't tell if it was because I was a woman and a woman of color, but what I do know is
Mhm.
it took a long time for me to get to a different set of doctors for them to decide on what it was. And unfortunately, that's the
Um,
world that we live in, where women of color are often dismissed,
mhm.
and they feel like you don't know, but you know when
Yeah.
something is going on with your body. And that's how I feel
Absolutely.
about the knowing what you need for the trauma. It's like you realize at some point, you realize like, hey, something's not right. Something's
Right.
not right. And I need some help fixing it. And I say
Mm-hmm.
to everyone, if anyone is out there and if you're experiencing anything like this and you feel like you need some help fixing it, please reach out to me. I am here to support Coach Barnes. My social media handle is at Coach Barnes GMT underscore. My website is at the bottom of the screen. It's www.goldminethoughts.com. And let's get you on your journey to healing. Let's get you on your journey to mental wellness. Let's get you on your journey to reclaiming your safe mental space because you deserve it. And I want you to be able to love yourself through the trauma.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like you said, listening to your body. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
everyone knows when they feel off. Everyone does. Everyone knows if they feel a little sluggish or if there's a little
Mm-hmm.
pain somewhere there that hasn't been before. Or, like you said, if there's something going on with the breathing, you know that there's something off. It's just having to
Right.
listen to your body and say, okay, yes, and stop listening to everyone else around you that's like, oh no, you're okay, it'll go away, just give it time. No, you did the right thing. You kept on, you were very diligent, and you kept on pushing so you could get those answers that you need. And I definitely commend you for that, because there's a lot of people that leave this place, with unanswered everything, right? Because
Right.
they were not diligent in just staying on it, going to other doctors. If you don't like what one doctor says, go to another one. And if
That's
you don't
right.
like what they
That's right.
say, go to another one. If you got to go to 10 doctors before you get the answer that really makes you feel comfortable deep down inside, hey, you got to do what you got to do, and you got to do your
You
research.
want to you want to make sure that you're being seen. You want to make sure you're being heard. You want to make sure you're being valued, and you want to research everything they tell you. Please
Mhm.
stop living in a world where we're taking things for face value. I want you to research. Google, let me tell you, this Google is something bad, man. They have this Google Med where you can put anything in it and it tell you. And don't get me wrong, it can be very overwhelming. But when you
Yeah.
take notes and you go to the doctor and you say, "Hey, you told me this, but I read that it has these side effects and this. How is this going to affect me?" They look at you
Mhm.
differently. They look
Yeah.
at you differently because when I go to the doctor now, they go, "Well, I know you well informed, so let me explain it to you." This, they have a different attitude. That they address me a different way because you can't just tell
Yeah.
me anything. I'm coming to you with notes. You told me this. I did my homework. This is what I got. Let's compare notes and let's figure this out together because I want to be
Yes.
here. So let's figure this out together. Because to you, I may just be another client, or another patient. But I want to be
Right.
here. I have a family to live for. I have a son to live for. I have a life that I want to live and things that I want to do. So I'm coming to you with my notes. Now explain this to me because this is what I got and this is what you told me. So where are we really?
Right.
I
Right.
want us to claim this new generation of I'm going to speak up for myself. We have to
Yes.
break those cycles of just taking what somebody else told us. It is
Absolutely.
time for us
Absolutely.
to own. It is time for us to own our wellness. It's time for us to own our health. It's time for, and when I say
Yes.
health, I mean financial health. I mean mental
All
health,
of it.
physical health. Let's own it. Let's claim it. Let's own it, and let's make sure that we're doing the work so that we know what's going on.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's the
Absolutely.
important part.
Yes. And it all works organically together, that the physical, the mental, the spiritual, the financial,
Hmm.
all of it, and if you're broken in one, probably going to be a little bit broken in all the rest of them as well.
It starts to
So,
trigger. It starts to trigger. You ever realize on payday how good you be feeling on payday? It's like payday. Let me pay my rent. Let me pay my. You start feeling good when you knocking things off your checklist, and then you hit back reality after a while. But you know what? You go, but my bills are paid.
that's right.
So
Absolutely.
you
Look,
feel
now
good.
you got to
You
be
like
that
my bills are
gratitude.
paid, so I'm feeling good. So then you go, all right,
just
let me
that
go make this
gratitude.
money so I can feel good again next pay. So it's like you think about that in life. All right, I got this little bit of money. I'm gonna put this money away for safekeeping. Now I'm gonna use my money to do this. I'm gonna go to the doctor. I'm gonna feed my health by doing this. I'm gonna exercise a little bit. I'm gonna walk a little bit. I'm gonna, you start putting things in places, and you start one little thing at a time. You don't have to do everything all at one time. And I think that's what happens when people get overwhelmed. They try to do it all. They try to do it all at one time, and then they try to figure out like it's not working, and now I'm just gonna give up because nothing's working. It's because you're trying to do too many things at one
Too
time.
much.
Start with
Too much.
bite-sized movements. If you start with smart goals and bite-sized goals, they're obtainable and they're manageable. So then you feel
Right.
accomplished. You feel
Yes.
accomplished.
Follow
And I talk
those
all
smart
about
goals.
this. You'll find all these steps in my Grieving to Heal book, the Shadow Burden Experience. You'll find all the details and the steps of how you can do these things in there, because I believe in giving real, tangible examples and resources to people. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I have my book we talked about. You can find it on the website, Grieving to Heal, the Shadow Burden Experience. It tells you all about my process with grieving the dead, and how do you come out on the other side, and what that looks like for you. So you're using my experience as a reference point. It's that the shadow boarding work plan that's in here. It's not
Mhm.
it's not for to me to say that it's going to 100% work for you. It's for you to tweak to fit to work for you. And it's not written in jargon where it's like, oh, you need a dictionary to understand it. It's written in layman's terms so that you can read it, you can understand it, you can have your aha moments. Listen, you can write in the book. There's space for you to write in it. Everything. It's like what you need to do in that moment. There's a space in the book for you to do that. So
Love
check it
that.
out. It's on
Love
Amazon.
that.
Yes, it's on Amazon. It's on my website. Social media. You can find it. Grab you a copy. I'm actually doing a virtual book signing on August 26th. And I know people go, virtual book signing? What's that? I knew that was your coming question. So the virtual book signing is you order your ticket in advance. I I autograph your book, write a special note to you, and I mail it out to you beforehand. So on the 26th, you'll actually have your tangible book with you. You can read before, you can ask me questions. I'm an open book on that day. You have access to me, and we get to grieve and heal together on screen. We take some photos, and it just creates this space of warmth, this space of
Yeah.
community, this space of wellness, this space of resource, this space of opportunity. It creates
Yeah.
that in a moment, and it allows people to leave feeling full. It allows
Cool.
people to leave feeling like, I'm resilient because I know that I have the capacity to change, even if it's one thing. And sometimes
Mm.
that's all somebody
Mm.
needs. Sometimes all
Yeah.
somebody needs is one thing for them to change in the direction that they want to go. And that's what my
Yeah.
books do for you. It helps you identify that one thing that you need to start your new journey.
Yes, I love it. So hold the book up one more time so the audience can see it.
Absolutely. It's Grieving to Heal, the Shadow
Leave
Boarding
it real.
Experience.
Awesome, everybody.
And listen, it's my blood, my sweat, my heart, my tears. And when I say tears, my literal tears going right in this book. But I definitely hope that you would grab you a copy and enjoy it. And I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing some of you and meeting some of you at the virtual book signing on August 26th.
Awesome. I love it. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and cut to one more quick commercial break. And then I would like to close out our show. Look, we have gone so quick today. I'd like to close out our show with
I
some
know,
words of
right?
encouragement, words of wisdom, and yeah, just some things that our audience can take throughout the day, throughout their week. So we'll be right back.
Wait, you want some more?
And we are back. Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine with our special guest, Coach Xenia Barnes, our trauma coach. So, Xenia, look, I tell you, we have been going and going, and we have been having such a good time. 30 minutes just goes so doggone quick when
I
you're having
know,
fun.
right? I know. I'm like, I looked at the time. I was like, oh my goodness, this is almost time to close the show.
So please, please, please share some words of wisdom, some words of encouragement to our audience that they can take throughout their week, throughout their day, just to feel good.
Oh, absolutely. I would definitely say some words of encouragement is, let me tell you, give yourself grace. Please give yourself grace. Greatness takes time, and you are already awesome. And even if you need to say that to yourself in the mirror every day, you say it until you believe it because you are. You are worth it. You are worthy, and you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be loved. So to I want you to speak life into yourself. I want you to speak strength into yourself, and always remember to polish your crown.
Yes,
Restore
yes.
yourself by pouring into your own cup. So many times we pour into everybody else's cup, and then our cup is empty, and we forget to refill it. We forget to restore it. So I want you to spend time restoring your own cup. And if that means you taking a day of self-care. That means you taking a day where you just meditate, and even if it's 15 minutes, whatever you need to do, going for a walk, journaling, reading a book, whatever you need to do to give yourself a little peace, I want you to do so because you need to know and have access to your safe mental space. And if you have those around you that keep trying to disrupt it, then I need you to start setting them boundaries where you can start eliminating from being around those people. And sometimes those people we hold close because we don't realize that that's what it is. So do that self inventory because, again, you deserve to be happy in whatever space you in. So if you walk away from anything today, I want you to walk away knowing it's time for you to start loving yourself through your trauma. Thank you so much for having me. Like, this has been awesome. I'm sure I'll be back again now that I'm a contributing writer. Please make sure subscribe to the Phoenix Fitness Fanatic magazine. I will definitely have write ups in there monthly. So I want you. I'll be around for a while now. I'm gonna be around. So make sure you look out for Coach Barnes. We're gonna be here and we're gonna heal together. We're gonna restore together. And again, my website is www.goldminethoughts.com. And I look forward to connecting with you beautiful people.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Coach Barnes, for joining us today. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in today. If you tuned in live or if you're catching the replay, definitely, if you have not subscribed yet to Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine, you want to subscribe so you can get some of the awesome content from Coach Barnes, as well as all of the other amazing contributing writers that are on the team. I wish you all an amazing week ahead. Stay blessed, and we will see you next time. Take care.
All right, take care. Tiffany, love you. Bye.